Oh, is that them calling you?
I hope.
What's the area code? What does it say? Whoa, there he is.
Hello.
Hello there.
Hello. Thank you for dealing with us as we had our minor technical difficulty there.
Oh, it's all good.
Can you hear us okay?
Yeah, can y'all hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you loud and clear.
All right, I'm on speaker.
No, that's
All right,
cool.
No problem.
We are currently in South Dakota right now.
Oh, sick.
Ooh.
Very cool.
And a day off. We did 2 shows here. This is where our singer is actually from, so we're staying at his brother's house.
Yeah, that's
Hell yeah.
And I'm just sitting out in our van smoking a cigarette in his driveway.
Hell
As
yeah.
one does.
Very aesthetic.
Awesome. So we have a few questions for you about the South by Southwest show and then the album and some songs. Some
Absolutely.
of them, some of them were aimed towards Johnny himself, but if he's not around, that's totally cool. We can tweak them a little bit to kind of work with you. When I talked to Shelly, she said the band and the guys. She didn't say specifically who we were going to be talking to, so I kind of had questions kind of for everybody, I suppose.
Yeah, I'm sorry. You're just stuck with me.
No,
No,
it's
it's okay.
totally fine.
I'm just a guitar player.
I mean,
Oh, don't you dare.
No.
I mean,
stop
like,
it.
as someone who also plays guitar, like that's totally fine with me.
That-
But
Guitar-
As somebody who doesn't play guitar, that's totally fine with me.
oh well, there we go. That's
More than fine.
That's like the whole
In fact, I'm
demographic: guitar players and non-guitar players.
That's right.
Yeah. So a lot of the questions we're kind of going to ask you, but also a lot of the questions are going to just build off of the conversation that we're going to have naturally. So feel free to totally be yourself because we are going to be completely ourselves.
You got it.
Awesome. So first of all, how do you pronounce your last name? Because I was
You pronounce my last name Houle.
Houle. Okay. So everybody who's listening, welcome back to Podcast in the Sky with Diamonds. We are here today with Clay Houle, the guitarist and second mate to Johnny Delaware of the Artisanals.
That's right.
Yes.
That's right.
Awesome. So you said that you had just finished up a few shows in South Dakota. So how'd they go? How was it?
They went good. You know, we played in Sturgis, South Dakota, which is where they do that like big motorcycle rally. And,
Oh, sick.
Oh, yeah.
My
Yeah,
cousin's been
Sturgis.
there. Yeah, that's cool.
Also,
and it was
High
like a
School.
sponsored like road to the rally free show kind of deal. It was cool, but
Nice.
you know, I think we've already played like 40 shows or something this year.
Wow.
You guys are
Dude.
keeping busy.
Damn.
Yeah, we did this European tour in February, and then we literally just came home for 3 days and went on the road immediately again. So it's
Oh, my
been
God.
quite a whirlwind, and we have about 2 weeks left, and then
Then maybe
and then
you
I
can
think we're,
take a breath.
Yeah, take a little
yeah,
break.
maybe I could take a breath, but then we're immediately just playing more shows. That's all we do.
Yeah, that's from the reading. That's definitely what I gathered. You guys are on the road a lot, which isn't necessarily a bad thing. There's a lot to see out there.
And there are worse problems to have than a bunch of shows to play.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, I could be waiting tables, or I could be playing guitar. I think I'd rather play guitar.
Hell yeah, dude.
Yeah, I would definitely pick that if I had to choose between one of those two.
So
Right.
where'd you guys go in Europe?
We went all over the place. We flew into Amsterdam, and then we
sick.
did like 5 shows in Germany, played a show in Norway, a couple shows in Sweden, some in England, a couple shows in Ireland.
What was your
One-
favorite?
I really liked Germany a lot. I had a nice time just hanging out in Utrecht, Netherlands. Unfortunately, we didn't have a show there, but our tour manager lives there.
Mm-hmm.
Dope.
So we got to hang out at his house and just explore the city, so that was nice.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
sick,
did
dude.
you get much of a chance to actually explore it all, or was it mostly work?
Well, a lot of it was, would seem like work, but
Of course.
we enjoyed it. Was just being in a different place. We really enjoyed the shows. They promoted it. They were happy to have us. So we met a lot of cool people, and
Mm-hmm.
a lot of the bars were really cool. We met some great people.
Hell
And
yeah.
we did do a little bit of exploring.
Yeah, well, that's still
Nothing,
cool.
nothing too crazy. It was like one of the final shows of the whole tour was in Amsterdam, and by that point, I was so tired. I literally just sat in the green room the whole time. Didn't even go walk around once.
Yeah, dude, I bet that it's exhausting, and I'm just thinking about it, and I'm tired. So I can only imagine what it's like for you guys.
Yeah, I mean, it was a blast. It was an amazing experience for sure. Hopefully, we'll be able to do it again.
That's dope.
Hopefully so.
And you also just you were at South by Southwest, that awesome show down in Austin, Texas.
believe so.
Yes.
Yeah, and that was was a great week as well.
That's
You know,
awesome, dude.
So
we had some great shows. We got to hang out with a lot of our friends and other bands because they were playing. I'd say it was great. You know, normally South by can be so stressful, and it actually was pretty relaxed this year. We had a nice time.
Was it your first time performing there?
No.
Oh, dope.
I went 6 years in a row with like different bands that I used to be in, and then we didn't go last year, and then we went again this year. We're kind of waiting.
Mm-hmm.
It just makes it so much better if it's like if you get like an official showcase. So once that happened, we were like, of course we're going to go to South by, and then we got some opportunities for some shows in Colorado and stuff. So that's why we're on this tour after South by.
Yeah, that's sick, dude.
That's great. So while you guys were there, like, did you get to see any other cool artists, or I know you said some of your friends are there. What were some of like the other acts you guys got to see when you weren't playing, if you got to?
Yeah. You know, we went to the Luck reunion. Me and our drummer Nick did, which was like a show out at Willie Nelson's ranch, and we got to see Strand of Oaks play. They're one of my favorite bands.
Oh, nice.
And we saw Dylan LeBlanc a couple times. His band. Dylan LeBlanc and the Pollies, they're good friends of ours, so we made sure to see them. Obviously, you guys know Susto.
Mm-hmm.
Saw
Yes.
him a couple times.
That's awesome.
Saw Steve Earle.
Nice.
There you go.
Yeah, I mean, South by can be a shit show, but it was great. We had a nice time.
Oh, that's awesome. As long as it was a good shit show, then I mean, I guess that's something,
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
Shit show that doesn't leave any scars.
Awesome. So let's I guess kind of just go through the questions. We can jump around a little bit. Do you guys have any pressing matters that you would like to ask him?
Yes.
Yes. Okay.
Okay, well, please continue.
Go for it.
Well, I want to ask just from one guitarist to another, like, what is your rig like? Like, what kind of guitars do you play? What kind
Nice.
of amps do you use? Pedals? Any of that fun stuff? Because that's the stuff I love to talk about.
Definitely. I love talking about that stuff, too. You know, if I had more money, I'd have a lot more stuff, but you know how expensive it can get. But
Oh, yeah.
I do. I will splurge on some pedals every now and then
Oh,
because
nice.
I do like that. Sorry, that was our drummer. And I've got like a 1971 Fender Bassman amp that I use.
Oh, very nice. Is that a silver face or black face?
It's a silver face. It's a Bassman 10, actually. So it's like a 4x10 combo.
Oh, okay. Those are really cool.
It's really cool. And I've been playing that amp for about 10 years. I had a different, like, Mesa Boogie, and I go to this music store in ATL where I live, and
Mm-hmm.
they had one, so I traded in for that. So I've been using that for a really long time.
Yeah, those
It
are
just
awesome.
seems to take the pedals pretty well. And then I have a Nash Jazzmaster.
Okay, yeah. I know of
Nash is-
Nash.
Yeah, they're like a company from Washington. They make Fender-styled guitars. I happen to like the Nash a lot better.
Okay.
And then I have this one Frankenstein Strat guitar that I bought from a buddy of mine who is in a band in Atlanta, but it's funny, a sound guy from the venue that we play at all the time in ATL actually built it.
Oh, that's cool. So is it one of those things like, the body's from like this kind of guitar, the neck's from that, the pickups are from this, and that sort of deal?
Exactly. It's like a Greco Strat body from the 70s, which is like a lawsuit guitar, and then it has like a Warmith neck, and
Okay, yeah.
just
That
kind of
sounds really
pieced
cool.
together, but it sounds really cool. I like that a lot. And then I've just got, a couple other Stratocasters from the 90s, like American Strats that I use.
Tight. That sounds like a really fun rig to play through.
Yeah, and then a bunch of pedals,
Oh, yeah.
Nothing too crazy, but I've got like a fuzz face and a big moth, and then I've got a couple exotic things, and
Okay.
Mr. Black Eterna reverb that I like to use a lot. And I've got like a Walrus Audio chorus and
Okay.
a couple Strymon things, and then I have a RMC Wizard Wah, which I really like a lot.
Okay. I don't think I've ever actually heard of that pedal. What kind of pedal is it?
It's a wah pedal.
Oh, okay.
Nice.
Okay,
But
very
it's-
cool.
It's got a really crazy frequency sweep on it. I mean, you can make it sound really psychedelic.
Oh, that's awesome. And like that kind of like is really interesting because like when I was listening to a lot of your songs, like some of like the tones there. Like I really dug your like chorusy tone in a couple of like the parts of songs where like it really kind of like reminded me of some 80s tunes. I'm like, ooh, like this is like really tasty sounding.
Yeah, and I think that's like on our first album.
Mm-hmm.
We at the time we were listening to a lot of like 80s Bruce Springsteen and a lot of the Traveling Wilburys and stuff like that. So on our first album, we did do a lot more of, you know, like triple tracking the acoustic guitars to make them sound like, you know, Full Moon Fever or something by Petty. And then like on the electric guitars, we used the studio we recorded at. They have a lot of different amps, and they actually have this like Ibanez Steve Vai guitar.
Oh, okay, yeah.
It's called an Ibanez Gem.
Yeah, the gems are really cool.
I know it's like a lot of like gear nerds or whatever would say it's totally lame, but at the time, I thought it sounded amazing. So
yeah.
I used that a lot.
Those things are really one. Those guitars are really cool. I just think they look really pretty, but like. Like if you ask me when it comes to that stuff, like as long as you like the sound it is, like kind of at the end of the day, who really cares what you're playing through as long as you like it. At least that's kind of what I tell myself anyway.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, all that matters is if you can write a good song. I mean, I really don't care about what kind of guitar or anything that you have if your songs aren't good. That's the most important thing. Gear is not important.
Oh,
it's the songs. It's more of just a luxury.
Oh, yeah. The gear can't make you a better musician.
Yeah. You can have the best stuff on the market.
I agree.
As much as I would love my gear to make me a better musician. So.
Andrew, you are a great musician.
I'm an okay musician.
It just so happens that all my favorite bands write great songs and they play really cool gear.
Yeah. It's the best of both worlds.
Exactly.
Awesome. So I have a few questions about some of your songs, like Grow With You. I learned is definitely one of my favorites. And when I was reading up on it on your website, you said it had some kind of Killers inspiration, which is awesome because the Killers fucking rock. But I got like this, was it this one? No, Tom Petty had the Roll With It one. Grow With You was the Tom Petty one.
It's definitely got that one. It's got a little bit of a Running Down a Dream influence.
Yeah, for sure.
I can hear that in that.
And you know, when we wrote that song, our singer Johnny, he had like this acoustic folk song with those lyrics.
Mm-hmm.
And then at the time, I had this other like more like rock guitar riff kind of thing. I was playing like a G minor on the guitar.
Mm-hmm.
And I learned that from a Dylan LeBlanc song that I really liked.
Nice.
So I had this like more rock riff, and then when we started making the demo, he had just took those lyrics from this other song he had written, and it kind of fit in perfectly.
Right.
So that was nice.
So that's really cool. So two kind of like different pieces coming together to like make something totally new.
Yeah, and we'll do that with some of our songs too, you know.
No, but that's awesome though, because then it shows like each of you guys kind of working together and having like your own little bits of music and kind of just like sewing them into this one track that always like Grow With You's badass. Like, it's just a badass
Thank you so
song.
much. Yeah, that's a fun one to play, and you know, it's cool. You know, it's got we like the heavy like synthesizers as well. So that's nice. I love all that psychedelic, like swirling, you know, wow synth kind of stuff. So it was cool that we put that in there. And then, I mean, the bridge is almost like metal.
Yeah, a little bit.
You know, so, and we do, I mean, I personally listen to a ton of metal, so that's nice too.
Oh, very cool. What kind of metal do you like to listen to then? Or what are some metal artists you're into right now?
I really like Uncle Acid and the Deadbeats a lot.
Mm-hmm.
They're probably my favorite metal band right now, but I used to really like Mastodon. And
Mastodon fucking rocks.
Also listen to like a lot of Van Halen and
hell yeah,
stuff like that. And also like, you know, some doom metal too. I really enjoyed that.
Oh, that's awesome.
Electric Wizard and things like that.
Okay, yeah, those are like some really tight metal bands. So like, I'm down with that.
Yeah.
Awesome. So yeah, grow with you's a bop. Roll with it was another one that I listened to a lot, and you said that one was the one with the Killers inspiration to it, but I got a lot of Tom Petty from that one too.
Yeah, I mean, that one gets compared to a lot of Tom Petty as well, and that's
Okay.
fine. And I mean, obviously, it's like F, C to G. It's not too complicated of a song, so it is kind of like a more rock anthem thing too.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Like, yeah, and that one I had made a demo of the music for it before I moved to Charleston to start the band with Delaware. And then when we started our band, I showed him the demo I had of the music, and then he wrote the lyrics to that one.
That one's a really good one. What can you tell us a little bit about how you met Johnny Delaware? Because I couldn't get too much information for it. So what happened with the birth of the Artisanals?
So I used to be in like two bands at the same time.
Okay.
One of them was like a country band, and the other one was like this garage rock band that I had. And the dude who's actually our current drummer, Nick, him and I were in this country band together, and we were playing a show at the Earl in ATL.
Mm-hmm.
And we had saw this guy on the bill, Johnny Delaware. Who the hell is that? Whatever. But then, once we were at the venue and we saw him walk in, we really were saying, who the hell is this guy? Like,
Who is that dude?
this guy's a rock star. Who is this?
That Jesus-looking ass.
I know. Seriously.
So we had we played the gig that night. We had met, and that was kind of the end of that. But a couple weeks later, I was playing a gig with my other band, which was a band called Tito Stone. He's a really good friend of mine. He still makes music, and he's amazing.
Mm-hmm.
So we were playing a show in ATL as well, and Susto happened to be on the bill. We didn't know Susto at all. This was like right when they had just started.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Maybe not right when they had just started, but anyways, I got out of the van, and I heard like, hey, are you the guitarist from that band? And it was Johnny, and I said, yeah, holy, it's crazy. So we kind of hit it off that night, and then a couple months later, we were actually at South by Southwest, and I knew Suso was going to be there, and he called me and then said, you want to hang out? And I was at this Future Bird show, and he was like, I'm going to the Future Bird show, and I was like, I'm already here.
I love the Future Birds. That's awesome.
Yeah, so we just kind of did that, and then my other band, Tito Stone, we ended up doing a tour with Susto.
Oh, very
This
cool.
is like 3 years ago, and we had just become tight over then, and then stuff happens, girlfriends break up with you, and living situations go south, and I had talked to Delaware and just told him what was going on. I was living in ATL at the time, and he said, man, why don't you just move to Charleston? We'll start our own band. I said, okay.
Fuck it, right?
So that's what I did.
And here
I
you are
moved to
now.
Charleston, and then we started our own band, and here we are.
Yeah, dude. Why not? Like,
Hell yeah.
Yeah,
only today.
I didn't have anything going for me really at the time, and so I was just like, yeah, I'll move to Charleston. It sounds good.
Honestly, all the best
That's
things
awesome.
happen when you're just like, all right, let's just do it. Like spontaneous, risk taking, not even thinking about it. So that's dope. Dude.
Yeah, and I mean, at the time too, I mean, they still have an amazing music scene in Charleston, but it was a real, they have a good thing going on, and I wanted to be a part of it, so.
Yeah, Justin said that too during our interview with him, that like Charleston has a really good scene happening right now.
They really do.
Which is awesome because I would never expect it, really.
Yeah, and I mean, it has to do with the fact that there's talented people living there. The people that live there actually give a shit about the shows.
That's always
The
nice.
the bar owners know how to treat the band. There's one bar, I mean, there's a couple great venues there, but there's one especially called the Royal American, and I mean, it's a great place to play. It's a good place to start a band and start playing some shows at Royal because it's almost a built-in crowd.
Yeah.
They got a good vibe. So, I mean, I feel like to have a good music scene, you have to have a couple good venues that support the band.
Absolutely. Absolutely. It's all
That's
about
awesome.
it's all about that kind of stuff. So are you the reason that you guys are called the Artisanals, or what?
When I had first met Johnny, I used to just say that all the time because I thought it was. I was like, "Oh man, that's so artisanal, so artisanal." Like I'd be like, "Dude, have you heard that song? It's fucking artisanal. And then once we had started our band and we had been writing songs, Johnny had quit Susto. We got, before we had ever played a gig, we got offered 2 gigs on December 30th and New Year's Eve to open up for the Band of Horses at the 930 Club.
Fucking sick,
That's
dude.
sweet.
That's awesome.
And those were going to be our first 2 gigs, so we didn't even have a band name. So like, yeah, we're just the Artisanals. I mean, that's what everyone already called us. So we're like, yeah, we're just the Artisanals. That's us.
So it just kind of happened and it just stuck and then you just rolled with it and here you are now, a little too late to go back, I guess.
Exactly. I mean, we didn't even consider coming up with other band names. I'm not kidding. We're just like, yep, that's it.
Well, hey, I mean, if it works, it
fits,
works.
yeah.
Yeah, I mean it's a great band name. I feel like it fits your aesthetic really well. I know it was something that started off kind of ironic, but now it's kind of stuck.
Speaking of aesthetic, just based off of
We
Go
were
ahead.
gonna go with the new Artisanals, but we just decided on the Artisanals.
Yeah, keep it simple.
yeah, just based on some of the promotional pictures I've seen and what have you, just your whole, every single one of you, your aesthetic is out of this world.
Yeah, it's awesome.
You got just a good look.
Thank you so much. You know, I mean, I guess we do take what we wear seriously, but I don't even really think we think about it too much anymore. I know that's a big deal to Johnny, our singer, and I mean, I'm with it too. You know, I like going and buying vintage clothes and stuff.
Does Johnny realize like how much of George Harrison he kind of looks like in some of these pictures?
Oh yeah,
I'm like looking at one of black and white with the long hair and the beard behind a soundboard on your website, and oh my god, it's like looking at George Harrison. It's so weird.
Yeah, he's heavily influenced by George Harrison as well. As we all are. He really got me into that album, All Things Must Pass, and I know that's one of Deli's favorite albums. So,
oh gosh, that's my favorite one too. I have those lyrics in George Harrison's handwriting tattooed on my arm. I love that album so much.
Wow.
Yeah, that album got me through a lot. Plus, it's an incredible album, and it was like his first, and I remember when I found it, it just blew me away, really.
It's so cool when, music like that, when music hits you like that, it's a really cool feeling for sure.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Oh, absolutely.
I have it I have like a 4th pressing of it on vinyl from like the early 1970s, and I only take it out and play it on very rainy days or special occasions or.
Oh yeah, that's fantastic.
Yeah, it's dope.
Bit of a humble brag there, Meg.
It is a humble brag. It's one of my most prized possessions. It's a great album to have on vinyl.
Yes, it is.
See?
Oh, I'm not saying it's not. I'm just saying, humble brag,
humble brag.
Limited early pressing.
I feel
this
like
and that.
I never get to talk about George Harrison much. So it's awesome to be able to listen. I just yell at you over text about George Harrison.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, Meg, we talk about George Harrison like every day.
Yeah, he's a good one. It's awesome that you guys listen to the Traveling Wilburys too, because that's also an incredible band made up of some of the all-time greats.
Well, yeah, it was a crazy super.
Definitely, yeah. We spend either.
Yes, we're still here.
Yeah, we're here. Sorry.
Don't worry. When we're quiet, we're just listening to you. Don't worry.
Sorry, I think I heard a little beep on my phone or something. I said, yeah, we spend all of our time in our van listening to music. Just all day long. Like, just so much music.
Saturated in
Yeah,
it.
do you get much of a chance to sort of explore some newer music, or are you mostly listening to the classics, to the
no,
old reliable?
we listen to new music all the time.
What are some of your favorites that you've been listening to as of late since you guys are on the road?
We really like to listen to Circles Around the Sun.
Okay.
That's a new one for
Just
me.
some
but
like
I'll check
LA
them out.
musicians that are really good. And one of my favorite guitar players, Neil Casal, is the guitarist. And then it's like Jonathan Wilson, bass player. It's really cool if you like psychedelic jam music.
Hell yeah,
I'm
dude.
gonna add
I'm
it
all about
to
that.
my queue right
Yeah,
now.
the girl sitting to my, you've probably never met a girl who's more into psychedelic jam music than this one.
And Meg.
Oh, then you need to listen to the Circles Around the Sun.
Yeah, dude, absolutely.
Throw it on her way home.
My friend Rob, who's also he's like my
Yeah,
soulmate
dude,
when it
yeah.
comes to music because we just talk about it all the time. He showed me a band that sounds. Listen, Andrew, he showed me a band that sounds almost identical to the Doors, except
What
they're-
band?
Oh gosh, hold on, let me find it. I saved it because I got really really stoned one night and just went on this whole rampage about Jim Morrison like I do.
Every night.
And he sent them to me. So give me 1 second and I will pull them up because
So while you're doing that, what other music have you guys been listening to besides Circles Around the Sun? Like, what are some other artists?
We love Jonathan Wilson is one of our favorites. Yeah, let me look at my Spotify.
Yeah, do it. Just read off like the recently played or whatever.
I also found that band, by the way, in my messages.
Hit us with it.
It's The Flying Eyes. The song is called Lay With Me. I swear to God, it sounds like Jim Morrison reincarnated. I got goosebumps when I
I'll
listened.
check it out.
Yeah, you'll dig them. If you like psychedelic rock and the Doors and whatnot, you're gonna dig them pretty hard.
Oh yeah, we listen to just a lot of like Israel Nash, Jonathan
Hell
Wilson,
yeah.
Kurt Weill. I really like this album called Waiting for the Sunrise by David Vanderbilt.
I'm writing that down.
Ton of Drive-By Truckers.
Ooh, Drive-By
Patterson.
Truckers. Those
Yeah,
guys
they're-
are wicked good.
Yeah, they're one of my favorite bands. We like William Tyler a lot. I don't know if you know him. He's like a solo acoustic guitar player who's really good. That's some good driving music.
I'm writing that down anyway. Ooh, that's awesome.
Speaking of, you mentioned Kurt Weill, and if I recall correctly, I saw that he was one of the artists who had used the same equipment that you did to record your first album.
Yeah.
And I was wondering if, I'm sure just being there using that equipment was inspirational all on its own, but do you think that there was any of those artists who had worked on that equipment before? Do you think just their spirits, their ghosts may have imbued your music at all, or do you think you're sort of just great all on your own?
At the time when we recorded our debut album, we'd only been a band for like a month.
Wow.
So it wasn't stressful. We had an amazing time, but it was just an interesting recording experience. But it was a blast, Obviously, recording on all that gear was incredible. Just even the fact that like Coldplay or David Bowie.
Absolutely.
The funny thing is, though, that album that they recorded, that Kurt Weill album that they recorded on all that gear. I used to work at like a pizza shop when I was 19, and this dude who worked there was like really into music, and he had told me or something. He's like, "Man, you have got to hear this album called Smoke Ring for My Halo by Kurt Weill." I had never heard it, so I went to like the CD store and bought it. And I just remember being like, "Holy shit!"
Awesome.
I really like almost changed my life. I'm obsessed with that album still, and just the fact that we were recording the same place is cool. There's a picture of him sitting in front of that soundboard, which is awesome.
That's
But I love
nuts.
Kurt Weill. Even his new stuff is amazing.
That's awesome. That must have been like really cool just to like feel the mojo from some of that gear,
Oh my God.
Definitely. It was nice. And we're still really good friends. We're going to be staying at that studio in like 3 days.
Oh, hell yeah.
awesome.
Dope.
Any plans to make use at all? What you working on anything?
I don't know. We probably won't do anything this time. We've been working on some new tunes here and there at different studios, and we record a lot. We have this like crappy iMac computer that me and Johnny use to record demos on, and we've been doing that a lot. We've been on the road so much, and
Absolutely.
we still feel like we've been almost have been promoting our debut album still. I'm sure by the end of the next 6 months we'll probably have another album done. But
Nice.
Yeah, didn't it come out in September of last year? Am I
It did.
remembering that correctly? Okay, cool. Awesome. So yeah, it's still fairly new. We just started our podcast in September, so
Yeah, we're like
we're right there
nice.
with you.
we're coming up on a year.
Yeah, we're both
I
making.
mean, you know how
ground.
things can be. It can be a slow build for
Yeah.
sure, but I mean that's all good.
Life
As
gets
we
in the
call
way
it, we just
sometimes.
say we're pounding the rock. And
Yeah, which brings me. I was gonna ask about that song actually, because that was the first track that I found for you guys during one of what I call my Spotify deep dives, where I just sit there and smoke a bowl and see what music I can find. And that song "Pound the Rock" was the first one that popped up, and I was like, okay, this is fucking incredible. Saving this for the rest
Thank
of my
you.
life. You're welcome. It's just I love it so much. I don't even know really how to describe it really, but what was it like to write that song? And what was kind of the inspiration behind it?
Well, when we wrote that one, Johnny had that like kind of opening chord progression, the G, C to F thing, and then he had already had the lyrics in the chorus, and then I had this like other psychedelic rock riff at the end, and I showed that to him, and we just decided to make that the bridge. And then he came up with the little like interlude going into the bridge to like where it turns like really rock and roll, and it kind of came together naturally. And that's a fun song to play too. I really like the lyrics that Johnny wrote to that. They're just so positive, and there may be something about thing that people don't write about a lot in terms of songs. You know, I think it's got a cool message to it. It's not like a love song or anything. It's more just about keeping going and going with the flow. And that's one we like to open up our shows with, that one for sure.
Nice.
We've probably opened up 90% of our shows with that song.
I feel like more musicians should be writing songs like that, and I find that those are a lot of the songs that I'm personally drawn to more than love songs, which are great in their own right. Like love songs are awesome, but it's songs with like.
But
a
I'm not like
message and
putting
story.
ourselves on. I'm not like putting ourselves on some pedestal that.
Oh no,
our lyrics are amazing. I mean, I can tell you 50 songs right now which aren't about love that I really like. You know,
no, but I definitely,
one of them is "On the Turning Away" by Pink Floyd.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Pink Floyd is awesome. They were one of your inspirations, or influences, rather.
Yeah, definitely. Even honestly, a lot of the like live Pulse, Pink Floyd, probably what we're influenced by, and some of the '80s stuff. But
that's
Very
awesome.
Cool. That's awesome.
Yeah, I feel like I don't hear a lot of bands that are like, oh yeah, we're super influenced by Pink Floyd nowadays, or at least bands that I listen to. That's not really someone that they talk about a lot.
I mean, maybe it's because guitar solos really aren't that popular anymore.
Yeah, which is sad because guitar solos are awesome. I love nothing more than like watching any musician, like guitarist, just like going hard on a solo on stage. That's just like, hell yeah, dude, get it. Like absolutely, that's awesome for me to watch. So let's see, what else do we got here? Oh, Drag, your music video. I watched it for the first time today, actually. That's a great music video, dude. It was just fun to watch. It's a great song, but the music video itself was just so fun to watch. What was it like, both writing that song and also making that video? Oh geez, I hit something.
Yeah, that one. So that was another song that me and Johnny had written together in my bedroom in Charleston on our little shitty recording rig. And we had kind of written the song, but then when we made another demo of it with our dear friend Wolfgang Zimmerman, is a fantastic producer from Charleston and also an amazing drummer as well. He played drums on our album. He's the man.
Dope.
And we had recorded an earlier version of that, and somehow I came up with like that kind of intro guitar, the new. I don't really know how I came up with that. I must have been smoking a lot of pot or something. So we had kind of written that. We had written that song and had it, but then we had already released an EP. It was one of the songs that we hadn't released yet, but we didn't want to come out with a music video before our album came out. So we had stayed at that Airbnb in North Carolina before. Just really liked it. Stayed there after a gig one time. And we had started talking to our friend Zach Helmus, who's a videographer from DC, who's really talented as well. And we said, you know, we don't have that much money, and we need to make a music video. So we really just got like 2 ounces of shrooms, and our friend Zach came down, and then our other friend Drew Gardner, who's a videographer from Charleston, he came to North Carolina and helped us out as well. So we really just kind of ate a bunch of shrooms and smoked a bunch of pot and tried to make it look as cool as we could. And I really like it. We went to Walmart, bought a bunch of shitty fireworks.
Ooh, hell yeah.
This sounds like a good time, but also a recipe for disaster.
No, it was hilarious. And I saw like you guys rolling up and whatever in the music video, and I thought I saw you guys also taking shrooms, but I wasn't entirely sure. But I'm so happy to know that both of those things occurred while you guys were making that music video.
Oh, I mean, that whole weekend we were tripping our balls off.
Oh, God.
Yeah,
Like, literally. And you know what's funny is our manager, who's the shit, she came for the... So we had that place booked for 3 nights. And we're like, all right, we're going to make a video. She's like, what are y'all going to do? Like, we're just going to eat a bunch of shrooms and see what happens.
All right.
It's the best way to do it.
Came, our manager, Chris, came that first night just to hang out with us, and drink beers and stuff. And we were tripping our nuts off that first night before we even started. I remember her talking to Zach, our buddy. Was like, are you guys going to make a video? And he's like, yeah, I promise.
No, that's
yeah,
awesome.
speaking of shrooms, in my reading, I don't remember who it was attributed to, but they were saying that you know, they didn't so much do shrooms to get creative or anything, but if they ever wanted to go on a spiritual sort of journey, they'd just go ahead and drop 8 grams of shrooms and see if they turn into a lizard man.
Yeah.
And I had my 2 things were, 1, 8 grams is a lot of shrooms.
It's a lot of shrooms.
That's more than I could handle, I think.
Yeah.
But
yeah, you know, we were eating a lot of shrooms last year. I don't know, it just kind of happened that way. And
hey, nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, you know, we were eating them before we were playing sometimes and stuff like that. But I'd say we really haven't been doing them that much anymore. We used to a lot, but I don't know. I think I ate some shrooms before the show and got really weirded out, and said I'm never doing that again.
Oh gosh, yeah. There's always that one instance that happens, and you're just like, nope, fuck, that's not happening again. Have you ever taken any other psychedelics aside from shrooms?
I've taken acid a couple times.
Okay, which one did you like better?
Definitely shrooms. I've only done acid twice. I mean, I don't know who's going to hear this podcast. I'm sure a lot of people are going to be going, oh, yeah, I've done acid before.
I feel like a lot of musicians nowadays, everyone's dropping some sort of psychedelic just to see what it's like, if anything, or like how it'll impact the music and whatnot. I mean, everybody in the 60s and 70s, like the Beatles were constantly tripping balls. Like Jim Morrison was doing peyote in the middle of the desert on like a weekly basis. So like it's not totally out of character for some musicians to do psychedelics.
And, but we don't really, I mean, I know we have that kind of psychedelic shroom thing tied to our name, and that's all good. I mean, it's obvious we have it in a music video, but I mean, our singer, Johnny, I've heard him write some of the best shit I've ever heard. I mean, he writes it just completely sober. He doesn't even drink. He doesn't smoke pot. It's crazy.
That's some real raw shit that's happening. That's awesome.
Exactly. So I don't think, obviously stuff like that can help, but I think it can also hinder what's going on as well.
Definitely. Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
It's like when you hear someone, I need to write a song, they're like, I gotta smoke some pot. It's like, well, I mean.
Can sort of color the product.
Everybody has their own process, I guess, but,
That is true. That is very true.
But it's nice to know that a lot of your stuff was also written sober. I think that makes it a little more real. Not that stuff written on substances makes it less real, but I think you can connect to the artist or musician a little more. That way. But if you or any of the other guys or as a band collectively, if you could ask or say anything to any of your influences, like George Harrison, Tom Petty, or Bob Dylan, what do you think it would be?
It's a good question.
You can take a minute to think about it. I know it's kind of a loaded one.
Yeah, I mean, I think if I could meet like one person though who influenced me, it'd probably be like Stevie Ray Vaughan, and
Nice.
probably ask him how he got his guitar tone. I'd say, "What the hell are you doing, man? How do you make it sound like that?"
From what I've read, at least because as we discussed earlier, from one gear nerd to another, at least from what I read, it was basically he took his Fender and he turned it up as loud as it went, and then he had 2 tube screamers in front of it. At least from what I read, that was like how he allegedly got some of his sounds.
Yeah, I mean, I might ask Tom Petty about some of his lyrics, but that's one thing that I like about Tom Petty. The lyrics are pretty straightforward. You can really tell what he's singing about. It's not too ethereal, which is nice.
Yeah, I also really enjoy that about Tom Petty. He's like a simple songwriter. He's really, let's cut to the chase. Let's say whatever I got to say. Have you watched the documentary about him? It's like 3 hours long. It's called Running Down a Dream. That one was a really good documentary.
Yeah, it's great.
But I like lyrics like that, like the ones filled with metaphors and the poetic ones. They're awesome and they're beautiful and they're fun to unpack. But when they're like straightforward, it's kind of just like, hell yeah, let's just get straight to the point and rock out. And
exactly, it's like that thing, don't bore us, get to the chorus.
Yeah, exactly. Like less is more. Like everyone's always saying that less is more, and I think that's definitely true in the case of Tom Petty, and I think that's what made him so great. So I'm a huge Tom Petty fan. If you can't gather that already. Yeah, no, he was awesome. We were all very heartbroken when we found out what happened to him in 2017.
Definitely. It's a little shocking for sure.
Very shocking, because I was talking to Andrew about it, and I was like, I feel like I should go see him. Like, he's in Boston. Like, he's here this summer. Why don't I go? And then I didn't go because I was like, I'll wait. Like, he'll be back. Like, he's still relatively young.
What's funny is I kind of said the same thing. I was like, I should go see him in Atlanta. And I was like, nah, he'll come back.
Yeah, exactly. And then next thing you know, Andrew's texting me and he's like, so Tom Petty died.
Yeah.
And I was like,
that was a weird day.
I was like, what the fuck? Like, no, he didn't. Like, you're kidding me.
Did.
Yeah.
That stuff is always really shocking. I feel like
I really enjoyed it.
Too.
I mean, I didn't enjoy it, but obviously when Tom Petty died, a lot of bands were covering his stuff. But one thing I really didn't like seeing was when like bands were like doing sponsored Instagram posts of their Tom Petty cover, like right after he died.
Yeah, that's fucked up.
Bit of a cash grab. It was.
Yeah. Exactly.
It's just an unfortunate part of the music industry. In a lot of my reading, Johnny had been talking about how he had originally started off in Nashville when he decided that he was going to like drop out of school and pursue music and whatever. And he was turned off by like how money grabbing the industry was there.
Yeah, I mean, that's not just Nashville, but I lived in Nashville too. And I moved there when I was 22 years old and I wanted to play guitar. And I thought I was good enough to be a backup guitar player for like some country artist. And I moved there and went out. Like first 5 days I lived there, I was like, this isn't going to work out for me.
Yeah, Nashville's a tough city like that because everyone goes there to play music.
And everyone can play music, but like that's just to each their own.
Mm-hmm.
But that's just not our style at all.
Right.
We have friends who live in Nashville and play music and do great and are in awesome bands. And there are amazing bands there. That's just not really our scene.
Nah, go the road less traveled. That's where the good stuff is.
Speaking of your style, one thing that I really liked in listening to your music was some of the influences and some of your instrumental choices. So I'd be interested to know what inspired you to use instruments like the sitar and the koto, which the koto I had never actually even heard of prior to this research.
Yeah, I mean, on the koto, we just wanted that like plucky kind of sound. So one of the engineers we were recording our album with, he actually had access to one, so we used that. And then on the sitar, we were when we did the demo of Angel 42, we had come up with that melody and used a fake sitar. But the producer, Wolfie, his girlfriend's dad is like a string savant. He can actually play the sitar. So
That's dope.
once we were going to get the real sitar on there, we had told him to just do like a 1.5-minute long intro into the song.
Oh, very
And
cool.
then once he sent that back over, we said, holy shit, that sounds good.
That's so cool.
So we kept it.
There you go.
Why not, dude? What else do we got? We got a few more, and then we'll let you go because it's getting it's like 7:15.
It's all good. I'm enjoying this.
Yeah, awesome.
Thankful for the
Oh, good.
Yeah, dude, I'm glad you're having a good time. We're having a good time too.
Yeah, I hope we're not keeping you from your cigarettes.
Yeah. So let's see. Oh, craziest fan story. You guys are on the road a lot. So what's the best thing a fan has given you or said to you guys, or like the weirdest thing that's ever happened with a fan? Because I feel like that's
A fan?
Yeah, like have you had any fun fan interactions?
I mean, I would say one, but I'm sure he's probably going to listen to this
Oh,
once he
geez.
sees we're on a podcast, so I'm not going to say it.
Oh
Very
gosh.
fair.
Okay.
But he's
I mean,
out there. He knows.
there's been some mild stalkers for sure.
Oh goodness.
And I mean,
While that's
Yeah.
creepy, but that's also got to be, a good marker for fame and how you guys are doing when you have mild stalkers around.
Yeah, it's not. Yeah.
yeah.
In a weird way.
I guess it's a compliment, also a little creepy.
Little,
Yeah,
little
there's been some kind of stalking going on, but
Jeez.
It happens.
It happens.
I guess.
Tis the life of a rock star.
Who hasn't stalked
I
before?
know.
Come on.
yeah, nothing too crazy though. I mean, we haven't really had that many run-ins with the police on the road.
Well, not
Not that
too
many.
many.
we have been pulled over before, but the cops have been very nice, which has been cool.
That's good.
Right. I could imagine, when they see a van full of people driving around from, in the middle of nowhere, I'm assuming wicked late at night when
Yeah.
you're going from one gig to another, they're probably like, okay, something's going
Yeah,
on here.
sketchy guys in their weird retirement home van. Like, what are they doing? Playing guitar? How dare they?
Exactly.
Those youngsters.
But yeah, I mean, it's funny, a lot of people, and I do know bands that party their ass off and do a bunch of crazy stuff, and I even used to be like that, but
We all have
this
ideas.
band, we're pretty laid back. We really don't even, we'll have a couple beers after the show, but no one's like headed to the strip club and doing a bunch of blow. We're all,
Yeah, I can't
We're all
imagine you guys
pretty-
like that.
we were kind of old. In band years too, I'd say we're a little bit older. Our singer's 32, our bassist is 32, our drummer's 31.
Right. So,
I'm
you guys
I'm
aren't
40.
out there going crazy.
Yeah, I'm 48, so
Oh, wow. You don't sound 48. That's for sure.
I'm kidding. I'm 28.
Oh, my God.
Jesus Christ.
I was
You you did have me convinced.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, I was convinced. I'm like, oh, okay, this guy's, is this youthful at his age.
Yeah.
A youthful
Dude, I was going to be like,
old
hell
man.
fucking
This guy
yeah.
doing?
Good for you, dude. It's never too late.
Yeah,
Honestly.
I'm actually an octogenarian.
Yeah,
So
so
you,
we keep it pretty chill. Our youngest member is our keyboardist, and
sick.
he's 23 and he's from ATL, but he's so mature you'd think he was 35. He's so cool. So there's nothing really too crazy that goes on with this band, which is nice.
Yeah, that's not a
'Cause
bad thing.
I've been in a lot of other bands that we were drinking beer at 1:00 in the afternoon, 8 hours before we were supposed to play.
Mm.
You can imagine how the shows went. Not very good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. I guess for a lot of bands, it's like, hell yeah, like let's live that sex, drugs, and rock and roll lifestyle and go as hard as we can and whatever. Do you feel like being around a lot of bands that's kind of an easy thing for some musicians to slip into?
Yeah, especially when the beer is free. It's
exactly.
like when the booze is free, it's very easy to slip into something like that. But even most of the bands that we're friends with, they don't even party that hard.
Mm.
Right.
I've noticed that a lot of the more professional bands that I look up to, and you don't really see them doing that sort of stuff. It's always the bands that are halfway into it that are getting trashed after every show, stuff
Yeah.
like that.
I feel like
I mean,
that's definitely a phase
It is
people
fun,
go
but
through.
it's also take it seriously, like a job.
Yeah.
I guess I can see how it would be easy to lose sight of that, just because it's like, hell yeah, like my job is to just stay up and rock all night and sleep all day and make music. And I mean, on the outside, it's kind of like, is this a job? But like, it is a job.
We were getting a good laugh the other night when we played in Sturgis. I mean, we were all at home at our Airbnb before 11.
That's awesome.
Sitting there watching a movie.
That's like me.
Truly living the life of rock stars.
Friday night, I'm in bed by like 8:30 with pizza on the way or Chinese food and just hanging out watching a movie.
I'm not here to say we're all saints either. We definitely still do party.
Nah.
Right. Yeah, you got to have that balance.
For sure.
Well, I've learned at, my ripe old age of 24, I can't party like I used to already.
Uh-huh.
And I'm only in my mid-20s, and, I have one bender, like one night where I go out and I drink a lot, and I wake up the next day and I'm like, I wish I was dead. Like, it's awful.
Yeah.
I
think that is true.
You kind of got to give yourself time to recuperate.
What they
before you
say
go
about
out.
what they say about getting older.
I know, I guess.
I drank some Fireball last night, and I feel like this morning when I woke up, I felt like I got hit by a truck, and I wasn't even wasted.
Yeah, it's like,
oh, no.
I get like mildly drunk, maybe a little bit past, and 9 p.m. the next day, I'm like, holy hell, give me a whole bottle of Tylenol, please.
I still feel
I
like shit.
simply can't live like this.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's growing old, man. It sucks, but it's fine.
Yeah, a lot of bands drink a lot of beer, but our band, we smoke a lot of pot.
The hell yeah.
That is one thing. I mean, we just all day long, right before we play,
That's what's up.
right when we wake up, when we're driving to I don't know who's going to be hearing this. Hopefully it's not the police, but we smoke a lot of pot. I'll just put it that way.
It's legal here in Mass, so
I mean,
it's
yeah, I
fine.
guess that's something.
All of our Mass listeners, it's cool. But yeah, I had the idea for this podcast when I smoked a bowl one day, and Andrew was there. He can attest to it. It's a lot easier on the body, I feel. I don't feel as disoriented or...
For sure.
I take a nap, I wake up, I feel fine. I just eat some food and call it a day. That's all it does, really. Which is awesome. So with you guys relentlessly touring over the past few months, have you had any like really cool encounters or like some really hard moments for you guys, like as a band or as an individual?
All of the above, it can be so... I can remember a story last year in particular.
Mm-hmm.
We had done some gigs, and then we were going to start our album release tour. We were driving on a Monday night at 10 o'clock at night up in North Carolina, and ended up hitting a traffic cone.
Oh no!
And then running over a few of them, and then we couldn't swerve over because there was an 18-wheeler.
Oh god!
And part of our trailer flew off and hit this 18-wheeler.
Oh my god!
No.
Yeah, so we get out at the funny thing was our friend Zach, who made our music video, had his camera with him, so we got all this on camera. We're like,
nice.
Get out at this
Perfect
gas station. And this 18-wheeler driver, obviously it's his job. He's like, I got to call the cops. And we're like, okay.
All right.
It was just fine. That's his job for sure. But we definitely had some extracurriculars. So,
oh jeez.
so
it's okay.
We had, and then, we got a shitty hotel. And then we were going to be playing in D.C. on a Tuesday night. And that whole next week, I'm like, even on the way to the gig, the DC gig, I'm like, what the fuck are we doing? We're almost dying out here just to go play for 10 people.
Oh jeez.
But The DC show actually ended up being pretty good that night.
Nice.
Saying, oh shit, all right, rock and roll.
Maybe it was worth almost dying.
Oh my god.
Here we go. We replaced the tire and we said, let's go.
Oh yeah.
Oh my god. You guys sound like the movie Almost Famous. I talk about it a few times because it's my favorite movie. This is like exactly what the movie's like, just like a bunch of shenanigans happening while you guys are just trying to tour and play music, which is sick. I mean, hell yeah, rock and roll. There's nothing like it.
Yeah. I mean, luckily everyone in our band is so chill. You know, we don't argue on the road or it's just
That's good.
go with the flow. I mean, we all know we've all been doing this for a long time. So it's nothing too crazy. I mean, that was one of the craziest things. I mean, we did like 2 West Coast tours last year. So that was fun. And
Sweet.
yeah, just visiting all the crazy places and seeing a bunch of crazy people.
I mean,
Playing at a different bar every night.
Why not, dude?
Yeah, you know, one time when we were loading out last year for a show in NYC, I saw Adam McDougall walk by with his wife, and I talked to him. He's actually the keyboardist for the Circles Around the Sun, and he's in like Phil Lesh's band and the Chris Robinson Brotherhood. So that was kind of cool.
Very
That's awesome.
cool.
That's awesome. Have you seen anybody else that's like super famous that you weren't expecting?
You know, not really.
That's okay.
I mean, me
Just
me
curious.
neither. So.
Yeah.
We've done a lot of like cool shows opening up for like famous people that we thought were cool. You know, we played a show with Alejandro Escovedo one time in NYC, and
Nice.
Catherine Popper was playing bass for him. That was really cool.
Damn.
You guys have another festival coming up in the summer that you're going to.
We do.
Yeah.
We've been
In Louisville?
Yeah, Louisville, maybe. Yes.
yeah, we've been lucky enough. We actually just got on another big festival too in California in September.
Oh, that's
Sick.
awesome.
What's that
Congrats.
called?
That one is called Kaboo.
Okay.
Kaboo.
And they've got like
Ooh.
Kings of Leon and Mumford and Sons
Oh,
and
wow.
Sheryl Crow and
Oh, man, that's awesome.
Wu-Tang Clan and Squeeze and Mixmaster Mike, a bunch
yeah.
of cool people.
Oh, that's so cool. So you guys are going to be in some really good company at that festival then.
We are. You know, that Forecastle, though, in Louisville, that's always, you know, a festival you hear about. It's super cool. And they always have amazing bands. So,
Yeah,
you know,
Chris was
we're
reading
just-
off to me yesterday. The lineup's pretty stellar.
Yeah.
yeah, they've got Tyler Childers. We like him a lot. They've got Israel Nash, who's another one of our favorites. Our friends Liz Cooper and Stampede are playing. They're pretty cool.
Love those guys.
The band we're a pretty big fan of, Lettuce. We saw is going to be
Lettuce, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I'm a big fan of Mountjoy, and I talk about them a lot, and they're going to be there, which is cool.
Are they playing? Cool. Yeah, I've seen
Yeah.
them. I saw them open up for Nico Case one time.
Yeah, they're still touring with Rainbow Kitten Surprise, I'm pretty sure. Maybe they just got done with it, but they were just touring with Rainbow Kitten Surprise, which is another
Nice.
great band. Yeah, and the Killers are opening at that festival too on one of those days. That's awesome. You guys are
Yeah,
doing
love
great.
the Killers. For sure.
Yeah, the Killers they're awesome. I feel like a lot people don't talk about the Killers as much as they should anymore. Everyone's like, "Oh yeah, Mr. Brightside." I'm like, "Hello, have you listened to the rest of their discography?" Like Mr.
Yeah, they got a
Brightside's a
few
jam,
songs
but
that I really love. I mean, I like Mr. Brightside, but I like that song by them called Runaways.
yeah, that's a good one.
I'm probably most excited to see Israel Nash at Forecastle. I really like his last album is insanely good. And me and Delaware, another good friend of ours from ATL, went and saw him in concert like 4 months ago at a
Mhm.
venue we hang out at a lot. We play at.
Mm-hmm.
Phenomenal show.
Yeah, I love.
Awesome.
I also enjoy Israel Nash. I had a few of his songs saved on my Spotify. Yeah,
That's the thing.
words, Meg.
The thing we use to listen
yeah,
to the music.
Spotify. I love Spotify. Spotify is
It's been a godsend.
one of the greatest things that have ever happened to me. I wouldn't be listening
Yeah,
to you guys. I
It's
wouldn't.
great.
I wouldn't have
wish they
listened to
paid
Sisto.
more, but
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's as
Yeah.
I understand it.
Do you like? Oh gosh, have you heard of Shaky Graves?
yeah, I've seen Shaky Graves live before.
Yeah, he's touring with Dr. Dog in the fall, I think.
I saw that, and I saw Liz Cooper is opening up some of those shows. It's
Yeah.
a fantastic opportunity.
Oh goodness, what was
Good
that
Lord.
noise?
Sorry, that was something from my phone.
Oh jeez, Andrew, that scared the crap out
Yeah,
of
it
me.
scared the crap out of me, too.
Most frightening things of my life.
But yeah, the Shaky Graves and Dr. Dog tour, I'm definitely gonna be on board for that one. I'm already
For sure.
already
Love
getting
Dr.
ready.
Dog.
Dr. Dog is great. I think I found them on Spotify too during one of my deep dives, and I think I have almost their entire discography saved in my library because they're really they're something else.
They're good.
Psychedelic Swamp is a great record.
I never listened to that one. I'll have to check it out.
Yeah, it's awesome. The cover for it's like really kind of like it's like 80s video games almost. It's really simple and it's cool. Like the graphics are just really reminiscent of like early computer games, and it's awesome. It's a great album. You would like it. I would highly recommend it.
Nice.
Yeah. So did you want to ask something, Christopher?
I'm doing this podcast interview right now. Yeah.
Who is it? Welcome.
That was our singer's brother, who's a good friend of mine.
He's more than
Nice.
welcome.
Yeah, he can come say hi if he wants. We're open to friends.
I was gonna say, as we're winding down a bit, just to ask, just a blatantly stupid question. What do you think your third wish from a genie would be?
God.
My third wish
Yes.
from a genie.
That's the most important one. And you can't say for more wishes or for more genies. That's cheating.
You guys thinking of all the loopholes.
I'd probably I don't know, I'm very thankful for the opportunities that I already have. I feel like a lot of my dreams have come true,
Absolutely.
even in just the 2 years of doing this band. If I could have a wish from a genie, I'd probably just ask for all my friends to live forever and make sure I could be around them.
That is incredibly wholesome.
You are an incredible human being. I hope you know that. that was the cutest thing I've ever heard. I guess, do we have any more questions other than that?
No, I
Are we
think
going to let him go?
yeah, I think we're all set.
Do you
Hey,
have...
thank you so much, guys.
Yeah,
It's been
you're
amazing.
welcome.
Yeah,
Closing
awesome. Thank you so
statements.
much for hanging out with us. Do you have any things you want to plug from the band, friends, bands, anything like that before we get off the hook with you?
Yeah.
Let's see. What can I plug? I'd just say come see us out on the road if you're close and
Hell yeah.
you want to support. I'd say listen to the new Dylan LeBlanc song, Renegade. I really like that a lot. He's one of our good friends. I'd say listen to that.
Mm-hmm.
I'd say listen to the High Divers. They're some friends of ours from Charleston.
I love
who
the
are
high
great
divers.
bands.
Fuck
Love
yes.
the Divers. I'd say listen to them, and I'd say go to your local bar and tip your bartenders or something. I don't know.
All right.
Oh, yeah.
So
Good
Yeah.
I'd
advice.
say that's a good note to end on. Tip your bartenders, go support local music and any of the awesome bands that Clay just recommended to us.
Because he's an
That's
awesome
right,
guy.
guys, and I appreciate y'all having me on. Thank you.
Oh, we
Hey, we appreciate you
being
coming
here.
on.
Yeah, we'll talk to you soon, and have a great rest of your tour.
All right, thanks, guys.
Hey, no problem. Have a great rest of your night.
See you later.
Bye.
Bye.